Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. Welcome to the special DraftKings Thanksgiving slate first look. There are 3 games on this slate, just like every year. Buffalo travels to Detroit. Well, they were already in Detroit. Maybe they didn't have to travel. Maybe they're just staying there. Now I'm worrying about their psyche. Are they living in a hotel for three nights? Like, there's a lot. It's a lot. The Giants go to Dallas and New England goes to Minnesota for all the games on this Thanksgiving. We're going to take a look at all 3 games. I'm going to build a quick first look lineup. So let's go.
He's a legend.
Go to smizzle.tv/ff. Go check out the Al Smizzle Fantasy Football channel. 5 videos a week, every single week of the football season. Well, until we get to the fantasy playoffs, then I won't be doing these rankings videos anymore because they're not as necessary as they are during the season-long season to figure out where people need start-sit questions. But every single week, there will be the recap video, which by the time you're watching this video is already up. Week 9 recap, week 10 recap, the week 11 recap is going to be right there. 5 videos a week. Make sure that you check that out for all the content that I put out during fantasy football season. And the Smiz Gang Listener League is a special Thursday game slate this week. Only 3,000 entries, but no rake as always. Go to smizzle.tv/links. That'll take you to the link tree. $10 to enter, 3 max, and absolutely no rake. A little bit smaller because of the shorter runtime this week, but I'll shout out all the top 10 on that recap video that I previously mentioned on the Al Smizzle Fantasy Football channel. So get your entries today as it's going to fill as Thanksgiving gets quickly. Here's the slate for this week. We got 3 games. Buffalo against Detroit. This one, the Bills are favored by 9.5. The Lions, let's see, the Bills have a total of 31.5. Game total of 54 in this one. Giants go to Dallas. Cowboys favored by 8.5. 44.5 is the total here. And the lowest totaled game on the day is Patriots traveling to Minnesota to play the Vikings. Vikings favored by 3. And it's 41.5 there. Let's take a look game by game really quickly. Just go over all the quarterbacks. Josh Allen, massive ceiling. However, he didn't look as comfortable throwing the ball last 2 games. He looked pretty good in this game. Did not look good in this game, right? Like, we were like, well, he might be the winter soldier. He might just be able to throw the ball anywhere he wants. And they really cut down his attempts against Cleveland, a game that they were trailing early and ended up winning by 8 points. Only 12.58. I want him to be healthy. I want him to be right. I need him to be good, but like they have not run him the last 2 weeks. And they this week he really looked uncomfortable throwing the ball a ton. That touchdown that he threw to Diggs, where like he really tried to pump it in there hard and then like rolled over, like it didn't look like his normal throwing motion. And maybe I'm just playing replay doctor or whatever, but like I'm going with Josh Allen this week on Thursday. I don't think that you're fading him. But like, I hope that elbow's fine. I really, really do. Jared Goff projects to be playing from behind. Could have more weapons. We'll find out. Amon-Ra St. Brown has been very solid. We've seen him post a couple of games, 26 DraftKings points, 37 DraftKings points. The Bills do have a tough defense and might be able to completely disrupt everything in Detroit. But at least you know that they have an offense that can score points. 18 points. 31 points against the Giants. 31 points against Chicago. 15 points here, 27 points against Miami, 45 points against Seattle. You know that they can pile up points as long as they can move the ball down the field consistently. And if they do that against the Bills, being in 70% game script situations, now you're in a spot where maybe he gets you the 300-yard bonus on a very short slate for only 5,200, opening up access to all of the other studs. Other plays in this game, Jamal Williams leading the league in inside the 5 carries. Another 3 touchdowns on those, the highest leverage carries that exist on a football field. He's not going to be somebody who's going to get you the 100-yard bonus very often. He has not been very efficient running the ball behind this offensive line, but he has been very efficient on converting those inside the 5 carries into touchdowns. When they get close, it has not been Swift. And even though Swift has been back the last 3 weeks, Swift has not been the guy that's getting all the run. 5 carries, 6 carries, 2 carries, 3 receptions. They're not even using him that heavily in the pass game. He's like a change of pace back at this point, to the point where they gave Justin Jackson 10 opportunities last week. They gave Justin Jackson 7 opportunities the week before. Like, I don't even know. I don't know. I don't get it. I kind of don't care. Devin Singletary, the lead back at this point, 20 more opportunities for him last week. He should have a much softer landing spot here after 2 very good performances. 17.7 DraftKings points, 16.7 DraftKings points the last 2 weeks. Nyheim Hines was brought on board, but we've seen James Cook and his role massively expand. The rookie looked very good against Cleveland, as many running backs do look very good against Cleveland. And Detroit, another kind of nutty matchup 13 opportunities for him. Did not catch either of the balls headed his way, but ran for 7.8 per carry last week. At wide receiver, Stephon Diggs, the American hero, did get a touchdown last week to kind of salvage things and kind of bail people out a little bit with 14.8. He should return, as long as that elbow's fine, to much more usage. Love to see Gabe Davis getting the usage that he's gotten the last 2 weeks, 17 targets over the last 2. As long as that arm is fine, he's going to be fine. Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to get you 8 targets or more every single week moving into the end of the season. Now, whether or not Detroit can continue winning games and turn into a playoff team remains to be seen. They do get the Rams draft pick this year. Like, they might be able to oops their way into the playoffs and get one of those quarterbacks out of this next draft, which would be insane. But Amon-Ra St. Brown, only 6,600. DraftKings did loosen up the salaries for this week as Thanksgiving. Hopefully it sticks, because I like this pricing better, where we can actually build lineups and get the stuff without it being pick 'em. And then there's not much else. Like, Chark is super thin. Khalif Raymond, super thin. 7 targets for him last week, but still super thin. Isaiah McKenzie, he kind of sucks. It's weird. Dawson Knox has been really the answer for us the last couple of weeks. 13 targets the last 2, only 3,500. Really good source of salary relief. And Brock Wright, like, since Hawkinson left, they're just not utilizing the tight ends. Everybody wants to know, well, they traded him off, so who's going to be the next guy that just steps in and crushes in fantasy the way the other guy did? Brock Wright is not the same tight end prospect from a pass catching perspective that TJ Hawkinson is or was for this Lions team. So, you know, just Mitchell, he's a great athlete, and this they're not ready. They might oops their way into a touchdown, but, you know, not ready to do any like serious work. Moving on to Dallas and the Giants. Dak Prescott, 6,600 last week, 6,200 this week. The pricing has come down across the board. Love to see that. Like, actually, like, I'm very thankful of all of that. 25 opportunities last week, 20.64 DraftKings points, over 20 points each of the last 3 games. Daniel Jones, 341 yards with like no receivers to throw to. 7 attempts for 50. I love the way that they're utilizing him on the ground. It gives him this really elevated floor from where he was in the past. The game that he didn't, he had a 9-point floor in that game. Probably about 30 attempts incoming. They do project to play from behind as 8.5-point favorites. At wide receiver, now they have Wan'Dale Robinson out, and the Giants are just struggling. Like, Slayton's going to get a ton of targets, and then I have no idea. The corpse of Kenny Golladay is being all spooky and limping around the field in mummy wrappings and everything else. Like, that did not pan out. Maybe we see Richie James Jr. a return to fantasy prominence, as he had a touchdown last week on 3 targets. There's just nobody else for them to possibly throw the ball to. Bellinger, Cager, they're going to have to throw it to somebody, and they didn't really throw it to Barkley last week either, with only 5 targets in that game. On the other side of the ball, we might have seen the C shift in Tony Pollard, who is the better running back by absolutely every metric over the last 2.5 seasons, 2020, 2021, and now 2022. Tony Pollard is better at absolutely everything than Ezekiel Elliott. He is priced at 6,600 following 3 monster games. Ezekiel Elliott did have 2 touchdowns in week 11. He has got 8 inside the 5 carries, and they will still probably use him as their pounder when they get in close to the goal line, and could vulture some touchdowns away from Tony Pollard. But if we go back to Ezekiel Elliott getting more snaps and touches than Tony Pollard after what we have seen the last 3 weeks, that is absolutely criminal. Would be coaching malpractice and malfeasance, and I will not stand for it. Not now and not ever. Moving forward, Tony Pollard, lead guy. Change of pace guy, Ezekiel Elliott. Those are the rules, and I don't make them up. So, Jerry, you need to swallow your pride and just let things happen the way that they're supposed to, because Tony Pollard is your best back. Last game of the day, if you wanted to have all the late swap possibilities, late swap opportunity, if these games do not go according to task, you will still have player minutes remaining. It is the lowest totaled game of the day. I expect most people to be playing the early games. Kirk Cousins coming off of a horrible outing with 3.2 points, completed 12 of 23 in that game, which basically made everything else around him suck. But he is extremely cheap. So, like, using a single stack through him might be the way to go. Mac Jones just is not the answer. He is not going to win you any tournaments. Maybe he does this week, but I kind of doubt it. Ramondre Stevenson, solid floor of targets, no less than 5 targets any game since week 6. And what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the last 8, 5+ targets in every game, giving him a really solid floor with a massive ceiling, as good as he looks when he is on the field. Tough day against the Jets. I think we're going to see a bounce back to somewhere around here. His averages from these games, his per catch and per carry sort of basis, great at breaking tackles, does get a lot of opportunities inside the 5. And though Damian Harris was on the field last week, he got out opportuned like 21-11 or 21-12 by Ramondre Stevenson. Harris does make a good change of pace guy, 21-10. If you think that he could have one of those multiple touchdown games and be the guy at 5,500 at running back with a really low percentage, because you don't need to go very far off the reservation this week because of the pricing. If you think that, look, I'm going to fade all these Ramondre Stevenson people at 6,400 and get to Damian Harris, and maybe he has a 2-touchdown game and bails me out. Very small, short slate. Kind of is what it is. 7,400 for Dalvin Cook. New England very efficient against opposing running backs, but Dalvin Cook can do it in one carry, as we saw with an 81-yard touchdown here, 53-yard touchdown here, on a team that does say they want to pass it more, but they've done a very good job of establishing Dalvin Cook in a lot of their games. Justin Jefferson, clearly their best player. 8,200 for him on this slate. We'll see a return to this 8+ target situation this week. Adam Thielen is just kind of roaming around. 10.8 fantasy points per game. KJ Osborne, just a guy at this point. TJ Hawkinson, clearly their second most talented pass catcher and being utilized as such, with 28 targets in the 3 weeks since being acquired by the Vikings. Was not able to capitalize on that this week with only 8.4 points on 9 targets, something that is kind of an anomaly here. I expect him to find his way into the end zone, because you cannot at tight end get as many targets as TJ Hawkinson does for as many yards as he has gotten and not score touchdowns. That is one thing that is extremely sticky at that particular position. Now, building a quick lineup for you guys with this slate after the full game by game breakdown. I'm going to start with Josh Allen. I'm going to stack him with Stephon Diggs. I am going to also utilize Dawson Knox at tight end to get me a little bit of value. He's been very good the last couple of weeks in terms of volume. He could slide back to this range here. I'm still betting that Josh Allen is the Winter Soldier with enough. No, he's got a bionic arm at this point, and hopefully that UCL injury is not serious that he suffered or was being diagnosed for and second opinioned a couple of weeks ago, and he can still fling it around like he did the week prior. 40+ attempts and hopefully 6-7+ rush attempts on the ground for the highest possible ceiling on the slate. I also want a really high floor, high ceiling play to bring that back with, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. At running back, I'm sticking with Tony Pollard. Like, you got to. Please, Dallas. Please do the right thing. Just do the right thing. I'm also going to have Jamal Williams in this spot. I want as much touchdown upside as I can get at sub 6K pricing, as I need to find some value now. On defense, I'm going to have the Patriots defense in this spot, trying to get those drop back opportunities to give me that there. On the Giants, I'm going to take 2 pass catchers to just try and find some value that we can get with. Slayton, there's nobody else to throw the ball to. He has looked the most spry of all the Giants wide receivers. He's 5K. With Wan'Dale Robinson out, I think that you're not going to see less than 6, 7, 8 targets in a game, that they're going to have to drop back and throw it more, projecting the fact that they should be playing from behind in this one in a divisional matchup, leaving us with 3,400, which means that I need to find value, and Richie James is 3,400 to plug into that spot. I wish you guys the best Thanksgiving. I hope you have a fantastic time. If you wanted to go to smizzle.tv/charity and donate to No Kid Hungry on this very special Thanksgiving week, every single dollar helps. Please donate to No Kid Hungry if you wanted to do something great and be a part of something bigger than yourself. Try to help out some food insecure kids and get us closer to that $50,000 next $10,000 match from me. Go to smizzle.tv/charity. All donations are 100% tax deductible. So thank you guys. Have fun this Thanksgiving with the family, fun, football, and friends. Look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.